Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Principles of Microeconomics, Lecture 11. Consumer surplus. What is consumer surplus? Actually, consumer surplus is defined as the difference between the price what a consumer is willing to pay and what he is actually paying for a commodity or service is called consumer surplus. Mean the price of a commodity which consumer is paying and for the price which he was actually willing to pay, and the difference between what the consumer was willing to pay and what he is paying, this difference is called consumer surplus. Let's understand this definition with the help of table and diagram. See first what are the two important things which determine the consumer surplus. First, monetary measurements of total utility, mean the maximum benefits accrued to a consumer in the monetary terms, that what's the benefit the consumer gets in terms of monetary terms from consumption of the particular products which the consumer is purchasing. Second, market value. It means that multiplying the quantity demanded with the price, what will be the market value of the products which consumer is purchasing. See here, for example, consumer is actually consuming 5 units and the price of 1 unit, marginal valuation of the 1 unit in the market was 1.80. If we assume that the price of the good was actually $1 and consumer purchased 5 units of the good in a week, and we want to find the consumer surplus as such a price, so we have to understand it. We assume here in the beginning the price of the good was, in the beginning we assume price of the good was $1.80, and when the price of the good falls 1.60, the consumer is ready to purchase 2 units, that is 1 unit and 2 units at $1.60, and the consumer is ready to purchase 2 units. It means that marginal utility derived by the second unit, the good is at least equal to $1.60, so we could not have purchased the second unit, and the marginal utility attained by third unit is 1.40, and the price further fall. Here you can see that as the price is going on to fall, marginal valuation is going on to fall, and this is the price, so quantity units is going on to increase, and this is the marginal benefit which we obtained from the unit first, and so on. So marginal benefit is also going on to decrease. See here how you can take it. For example, this is the price on y-axis and this is the quantity on x-axis. For example, unit 1, when consumer purchased it, its marginal value was 1.80 from B to 1, while when the price of 1.820 reduced to 1.60, consumer purchased 2 units, that is 2 units. When price further decreased 1.40, consumer purchased 3 units, and so on until at the point of 1, consumer purchased F units. And how we can define the consumer surplus? Actually, what will be the formula of consumer surplus? If you see this gap, actually as we define it from the definition, that price what the consumer was willing. For example, you see at the 1 unit consumer was willing to pay 1.80, while actually the consumer is paying $1. So we can say that consumer surplus willing to pay is equal to the price consumer is willing to pay minus actual paying. And what was consumer was willing to pay? That was O, J, F and A. Actually, this is the area which consumer is willing to pay. O, J, F and A. You can see here like this. This was the area which consumer was actually willing to pay, and which is actually paying O, G, F, G. O, G, F, G. You can see it. O, G, F, G. This is the area which consumer is actually paying. Here red color is showing the area which consumer willing to pay, while yellow color is showing the area which consumer is actually paying. And what is the difference between it? That is AFG. And what is AFG? Here this is AFG, blue color that is presenting to AFG, and this is actually consumer surplus. This is showing the consumer surplus. I think so it's the clearest to all of you. And how we can measure it? By comparing this gap compared to red gap and yellow gap. We can measure that actually consumer surplus show that how much units consumer was, how much pay consumer was actually are willing to pay, and what's the price consumer is actually paying, and the difference between it is the consumer surplus. It's all about today. In case of any confusion, discuss into the comment bar. Please subscribe and like the channel. Allah Hafiz.